Tuesday's debate where Vice President Kamala Harris destroyed Donald Trump quite literally broke Fox. During Hannity's broadcast last night, it broke. It shut off as he was trying to do his propaganda routine for Donald Trump. Here, watch this.
Kamala wants to decriminalize, provide free housing, health care, education. Now, taxpayer-funded.
And throughout the day, it wasn't much better than that. You had Fox hosts just humiliating themselves and digging the hole deeper. You know the law of holes. Just stop digging. Here you have Jeanine Pirro on Fox attack Taylor Swift. Play the clip.
But the other thing about all this is what makes you think that the way you think should influence other people? You sing for a living. Just deal with that.
Then you had J.D. Vance go on Fox to attack Taylor Swift, although it sounded like he was talking about Donald Trump. More on that in a little bit. Play that clip.
How do you speak to women voters who obviously they care about what she thinks?
Of course. Well, look, we admire Taylor Swift's music, but I don't think most Americans, whether they like her music or fans of hers or not, are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. Look, when
throughout the day, it was just a cope session for Fox. It was like they were trying to give themselves some therapy here. You had in the morning Fox hosts saying that what this was just a polished package of lie after lie by Vice President Kamala Harris. I mean, this is the stuff that they were feeding their viewers when Donald Trump just did horribly because he's a horrible candidate and a horrible person. Here, play this clip.
I have to say that the cronyism occurring between the ABC moderators and the Democrat Party was on full display last night. It did no American any favors, and it certainly did not do former President Donald Trump any type of neutral or respectful platform. I will say, however, that it's unsurprising. And the unfortunate aspect of it was the lost opportunities and the missed opportunities on the president's part to step in that gap, to unfortunately lift the weight that we can't depend on the media and the moderators to do. And what I saw last night was a very polished package of lies on one hand, and then a more emphatic, earnest delivery of the truth on the other. And at the end of the day, if you are voting on personalities, then that might have moved the needle a certain bit. But if you are voting on policies, and I pray to God every American is, then I hope that you look beneath the veneer of someone who memorized scripts and someone who was coached perfectly and someone who absorbed somehow a lot of information that we haven't ever seen coming out of their mouth for quite some time or ever. That you can look beyond that to see what would actually happen upon a vote that leads one of them to be in the commander-in-chief's seat. Because at the end of the day, that is what terrified me, that people will be swayed by the polish aided by the ABC moderators.
And they're already voting.
They're
in some battleground
that
states.
is right.
Pennsylvania.
And if you're illegal, you're voting a million times too. So
yeah, look, if
Kayleigh McEnany on the morning show was like, ABC had a choice and it lost all credibility. Here, play this clip.
So, last night ABC had a choice. They could be credible, solid, probing, fair debate moderators, or they could be partisan activists. And they chose the latter. And
the cope continued throughout the day. You had Jesse Waters on, and Jesse Waters said, everybody at the end of the day just knows where Donald Trump stands. Here, play this clip.
Everybody knows at the end of this debate what Donald Trump stands for. Even people who don't follow politics, they know.
Then Jesse Waters talks about what makes Donald Trump so emotional at debates. Play this clip.
But what makes him so emotional at these debates and so volatile is also a characteristic that makes him able to withstand getting his home raided, being called a Nazi for 5 years, being arrested, being put in a cold courtroom, being shot and standing up, fight. So yes, you can have a perfect candidate that acts like Mitt Romney with great hair and discipline and perfect talking points and elocution, but he's not going to be able to withstand the avalanche of attacks, dirty tricks that Donald Trump has.
Just look at the chyron here in Jesse Waters. It says, nobody's perfect. Then Kayleigh McEnany then went on from spewing those lies on the morning show. She went on Jesse Waters later in the day, and she said that David Muir and Rachel Lindsay is not a journalist. So it seems that she combined Rachel Scott and Lindsay Davis, both of whom are black journalists who work for ABC, and just mix their names. Here, play this clip.
Last night, David Muir, not a journalist. Rachel Lindsay, not a journalist. You are left-wing activists. Trump was fighting 3 against 1. Did he make every pivot perfectly? No. There are things he can learn. There are things he can do better next time.
Jesse Waters then says, look, Donald Trump's 78 years old. We can't expect him to change. This is who he is. Play this clip.
See,
I think we should all stop saying Donald Trump should have done this and that. He's Donald Trump. He does what he does. He's 78. You can't expect a man to change that much. But what
then one of the panelists on this on the show The Five on Fox calls out Jeanine Pirro and says, if you think these things are true, why didn't Donald Trump say it? Here, play the clip.
And she's telling every woman in this country that she's a woman. But at the end of the day, women and children are suffering as a result of her border policy.
Harold, what does it matter that they're trans?
Why didn't he say any of them? I'm going to come up. Why didn't the president say
I
any of
don't
the thing
know.
that you said?
Ask him.
Right. So I get it.
You agree with me then?
No,
You do agree with me, Harold.
I think it would have been a more effective debating. He would have had a more effective debate performance had he done these things. It's not.
Then Jeanine Pirro is apparently very upset that at Fox for the last 3.5 years, they've been telling the wrong lies about Vice President Kamala Harris. Hat tip to Poli Sci for pointing this out. Play this clip.
All right. You know what, Dana? For the past 3.5 years, we've talked about our word salads. We've talked about the people who have left our office. We've talked about the resets. We talked about, did we lower the bar so that when she came across as articulate, everybody's like, she should run to be president?
Well, the night before the debate on this show, Jesse said, wait, you guys, she's good. We are lowering the bar too much. She's going to do great. And I remember you said, she'll be prepared. And
then Jesse Waters talks about how while Donald Trump was on the defensive, no one really cares about that. Play this clip.
Yes, she had Trump on the defensive a lot of the time. Yes, Trump snapped a couple times. But that's not what the regular voter cares about.
Jesse Waters claims that there was actually no signature moments from the debate.
Yep.
That's all he needed to do. And the signature moments that you see on the internet after this, she didn't have any. She didn't have any. Trump had them all. And that's what's going to reverberate.
I mean, there's lots of signature moments going viral. The whole world is laughing at Donald Trump. Not only did Donald Trump lose, the world is laughing at him. Here's a viral clip of people watching, laughing at him. Play it.
Talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
This is what was going on across America. Here's another one. Play it.
Get this. No, get this. And the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be Commander-in-Chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that.
And then you had Jeanine Pirro go, who the hell do they think they are for fact-checking Donald Trump? Play it.
And, I got to say one more thing. Who the hell do they think they are fact-checking?
All right, are you ready for this fact? Traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat. It can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses. It's just gross. Miracle Made, however, offers a whole line of self-cleaning antibacterial bedding such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent up to 99.7% of bacteria growth and require up to 3 times less laundry. It's why I use Miracle Made on my bedding. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather, so you get a better sleep every single night. It's why I love Miracle Sheets. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to trymiracle.com/Meidas. trymiracle.com/Meidas and try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save up to 40%. And if you use our promo code Meidas at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Meidas to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. Look, Donald Trump lied and claimed that Democrats are executing babies. Democrats are not executing babies. He goes, there's abortions at 9 months, and when the baby's born, they kill the babies. The moderator said, no, that's not true. That's not what's happening. And the other time the moderators fact-checked Donald Trump is when he said that there are Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, thousands, who are running around eating dogs and cats. And all the moderator said is that's not true. Those were like the only times that there was like a fact check at all taking place. Then you had MAGA Republican Senator Cornyn go on Fox, and here's what happened. Play the clip.
You know, it's interesting, too, on that point, Senator, whether she had a good night or Donald Trump had a bad one. Even the normally conservative-friendly Wall Street Journal editorialized today that she won the debate because she came in with a strategy to taunt and goad Mr. Trump into diving down rabbit holes of personal grievance and vanity that left her policies and history largely untouched. What they seem to be saying is that he always takes the bait, and Ms. Harris set the trap. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, these debates are kind of an artificial construct. You have 2 minutes to talk, and basically what she did is attack, and try to put President Trump on the defensive. So it wasn't exactly.
But he did so well. He did so well in the opposite way against Joe Biden. That guy was as sharp as attack and ready with answers, but he wasn't here. What do you think happened?
Absolutely. Well, she was loaded for bear. There's no question about it. But I don't think that she persuaded any Trump voters to vote for her, and I don't think President Trump persuaded any Harris voters to vote for him. So I think it was pretty much of a stalemate myself.
There's another part of that interview. Let's play it.
You know, debates, you're quite right to your point, Senator. They don't often move the needle, but if they're one and done, they can. Of course, we remember famously Jimmy Carter's one and only debate with Ronald Reagan. The one thing, without playing bites from that, sir, is the fact that it gave the American people a chance to see Ronald Reagan, who was portrayed as a sort of a reckless cowboy with little experience, save the fact he was a 2-term governor of California, but that he wasn't really up to the job. And that debate down to the line, there you go again, seemed to kind of calm Americans' fears, and off he went. Do you think, in reverse, this could have done the same for Kamala Harris?
Well, I think she made some points, and she attacked President Trump relentlessly, which put him in a position of responding. You're never winning when you're responding, only when you're on the offense. And so from that standpoint, you know, she had a pretty good night, but I don't believe it's going to move the needle in terms of votes. And I do think in the next 8 weeks, almost full 8 weeks, that she will be exposed for what she is, which is a pretty radical individual who's been.
Donald Trump then goes on Fox, an impromptu press conference, and starts whining and says, "We won the debate. All the polls say we won." Play it.
And no, we're looking at it, but you know, when you win, you don't really necessarily have to do it a second time. So we'll see. But we had a I thought we had a great debate last night. Thank you very much.
What would need to change for you to agree to a second debate? Would you want different rules? Would you want a different format?
Well, you know, when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, we want a rematch. So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that, are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know. But we'll think about it.
Would you still do the one on NBC on September 25th? You proposed that. Are you still committed to that?
I would do NBC. I'd do Fox too. I'd do Fox too. But right now we have to determine whether or not we even want to do it. We had a great night last night. And you see by the poll numbers, it was really fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody.
You see here why he picked J.D. Vance, who goes on Fox and says, I think Trump had a great night. Here, play this clip.
You think there should be another debate?
I think it's ultimately up to the president. I do think the president had a very good night. And I know the pundits are trying to tell this story that Kamala Harris knocked him off his game or got under his skin. But if you...
Kayleigh McEnany, again, attacking Vice President Kamala Harris for practicing facial expressions. Play the clip.
She did practice her facial expressions maybe more than her policy points, because these seem to be very rehearsed, Harris. I mean, we'll put some of them up, like the hand on the chin, seem to be practiced.
Well, I mean, they wanted her, I would imagine, her debate prep team to look more comfortable than sometimes she comes across looking, with the giggling and the weird accents and all the...
Here, one of the Fox hosts talks about how she attacks the journalists, David Muir, the panelist, and says, I wish so much they had done service for America, and they screwed up. Here, play this clip.
Emily, so one of those was an opinion commentator, but several of those were journalists. I mean, hold it in a little bit, guys. You can disguise it just a bit.
Look, as I said earlier, it is so unsurprising and yet equally disheartening, because I think Americans do better. For those who are earnestly watching the debate and who depend on journalists to deliver objective facts, to deliver the news, I wish so much that they had done the service to those Americans and said, look, let's talk about fact checking. Let's talk about what was stated on stage, and let's talk about what that means to Americans. Let's talk about the policies. And instead they get that. But look, this is someone who has wielded any type of criticism of policies and said it's misogynistic and racist, but now somehow in triumph that's been wielded to this is spanking. I mean, I think it's frankly unbecoming the office that they're both trying to occupy. And I hope and pray that, again, our fellow Americans vote based on policy and not on personality.
Jason.
Donald Trump then starts attacking Fox. He attacks Neil Cavuto. He goes, Neil Cavuto, Fox's lowest rated anchor, is one of the worst on television. I actually prefer the losers at CNN and MSDNC. Donald Trump just behaving like a baby. And what happened is that Neil Cavuto had RFK Jr. on, and RFK Jr.'s like, yeah, it was not a great performance by Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
She's been very skillfully kind of hidden, and she has not done an interview, and this was really an ideal forum for her because there are these 90-second sound bites, and you don't really go into the next level. And I think that she's very vulnerable in a like a long form interview that she'd do on a podcast or on a program like this. I think this is the ideal forum for her to display, her kind of skills. And I think she did that very well. And I think President Trump did not tell his story, which is a very, very good story about his presidency. And I think that he didn't convey that as well as he could.
And here RFK Jr. says that, I think the polls that Donald Trump are talking about are like online polls. And they're not really statistically significant. Here, play the clip.
He says, and it's commented a couple of times today, that he won the debate, and all the polls show that he won the debate. I haven't seen a single one to show that. What did you think of that reaction?
Well, I have seen those polls. They're not. They're polls that you see on, on the internet, and a lot of them probably have statistical problems with them.
Right.
But
more on Fox right here. They had a guest on talking about how ABC should get a D- for how their moderators handled. The moderators were fine. Play the clip.
Howie Kurtz live in Washington for us. So Howie, how do you grade ABC on this debate? Sandra, ABC gets a D-, and that's being generous. In fact, the network's moderators were so blatantly biased against Donald Trump that it vindicated his pre-game criticism of ABC as dishonest. Now,
Then you saw J.D. Vance before, when he was trying to attack Taylor Swift. It sounded like he was attacking Donald Trump. So we had a little fun at the MeidasTouch Network, and we made this doozy. Play it.
But I don't think most Americans are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. I think if you watch the debate, you're sitting at home, you're an undecided voter, what you saw is a person who repeats slogans.
We're going to make America great again. Drill, baby, drill.
Instead of respecting you enough to treat you like an adult. I just don't understand a person in American politics in 2024 who's whining about what happened to them instead of using their leadership and using their influence to make the lives of American citizens better.
And we would have had a deal if the election weren't rigged and stolen.
I'd like to know how you were prepping for a debate with Tim Walz, who has described himself as a bad debater. Who's helping you, and how are you prepping?
Well, I found a good friend from back home who embellishes and lies a lot, and I'm having him stand in for Tim Walz.
People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
And we're not going to reward people who gaslight us and lie to us about what they've done in office.
We were hit with the COVID came in. We focused on that. We did a great job.
Well, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Can we get to 4 million subscribers together? Have a wonderful day.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.